I see a lot of comparison from the situation that is happening right now on Zenless Zero to what's happening on HSR's HP inflation and power crap. And I'm gonna say this right now, HSR have a different situation to Zenless Zero 100% at the time because they are a different type of game. HSR is a turn-based game which very different from Xenozone Zero, which is a skill-based game. To simply put, Xenozone Zero have more combat expression than HSR. Since on HSR you cannot dodge or parry, I mean, Expedition 33 is just the exception of that, but the situation of comparing both of them are not really fair. I'm just gonna say this right now. So guys, please keep in mind on your comments, do not compare this to HSR. And some of you guys probably have HSR PTSD, to be honest. Mainly most of people that are gonna instigate in these comments, and most of them are probably Zenless Zero hater. And you probably hate Zenless Zero on what's happening on the situation right now because you guys hate Hoyo games. To be honest, keep the comments civil. I will just explain what's happening on the game right now and what I think Zenless Zero devs are doing. A little bit of a history lesson on Zenless Zero. Zenless Zero is already almost 1 year since its release, and I still remember what happened on 1.0. I'm very excited to play the game. Very easy game to get into, very like casual friendly, you know, free to play friendly to be exact, and very easy to clear, especially the end game. The end game for Zenless Zero is super easy and doesn't have much combat expression compared to what it is now, because the enemies from 1.0, the enemies are not that hard to defeat, especially since they don't have much mechanics to it. And I think the only enemies from 1.0 that have somewhat a mechanic to it is Thanatos and like the dog Ethereal, which you need to parry to remove the shield. The game is very easy, and it's even called button mashing game. Basically, you don't need any skills, even though like the character's kit have a lot of, you know, combat expression to it.
The first real reason why people are not satisfied with the game is like the game is too easy for them. All you have to do is left click. Some people aren't feeling the rewards from the gameplay.
My first impressions aren't great. I think a lot of the combat is unsatisfying. I feel like a lot of the time when I'm fighting stuff, I'm not in control.
But the thing is, the combat expression doesn't matter if you can clear the game very easy. That's why a lot of people from the very start of the game are complaining that Zenless Zero is very easy, and actually a lot of people quit the game because it didn't really met their expectation. And it's probably because, since you know that the rival gacha that just came out before Zenless Zero is Within Waves, which is a very hard, and there's a lot more combat expression on their game. So you know, when you know tried Zenless Zero, very easy, and honestly in my opinion they balanced the game at the very start so low. Very underwhelming the end game it is, though for a casual gamer like me it's very easy, since you know at the very start when I tried the end game I used Anton on level 40, and I think that's already, you know, proof enough that the end game is very easy from the very start. And there's even like videos like complaining about it, about like, you know, being easy. And there's even video from Mr. Foki that I really like, basically him doing a blindfold run from on Shiyu, and to prove that Zenless Zero is very easy. Yeah, that's the origin of Zenless Zero endgame. And from 1.0 in the future, of course, we already see the HP inflation. Yes, HP inflation Zenless Zero right now, especially on the long run of season 1, is there. Yes, I'm not gonna deny it. Like, it's 100% there, and I'm gonna say this right now, HP inflation is a lazy way to make the content harder, but it's not a problem yet. And also, to argue, I think the HP inflation on Zenless Zero is very intentional, since, like I said on the history of Zenless Zero, it's very underwhelming. The game is underwhelming from 1.0, like literally super easy, like super easy. Its endgame is supposed to be hard, but level 40 Anton can easily clear it at that time thing. But I think Zenless Zero actually maintain it very well. I think for me, just my perspective, as a player day one and as a casual, not really casual but intermediate player on the game, the HP inflation actually have positive effects on Zenless Zone Zero since they have a bad reputation from the very start as a button mashing game. They actually took the HP inflation to make positive effects for Zenless Zone Zero. One of the main thing that happened is like removing like the button mashing game label. They're not button mashing anymore. You literally the skill base is literally there. The skill is there now. A lot of people are actually learning about the game, especially about the character skit. Even I experienced this, by the way. I noticed that the content is gradually getting harder from I think around 1.3. I experienced it, and then I started to learn how to use characters like Ellen Joe. I didn't even know Ellen Joe have a second animation on her EX. Basically, if you have two EX energy that you can use, you can basically do an AoE attack. I didn't even know that. Like on Soldier 11, I use Soldier 11 a lot since I lost 50-50 from Ellen like long time ago. But I still use Soldier 11 and I just realized that Soldier 11 have a redeem game mechanics on her kit just to activate the fire. And there's a lot more characters that I'm learning around those times, like on 1.3, 1.2, because the content is gradually getting harder. It's actually a positive effect because I tried to learn. And I think more incentives to actually build your characters also is a positive effect. Basically, just making your account much better, especially your characters. And by this positive effect is the reason why I think the HP inflation for Zenless Zone Zero is in steady phase. Even though, yes, I will say this, it's unbelievable how aggressive the HP inflation in Zenless Zone Zero. Okay, it's 100% aggressive and unbelievable to look at. I saw the chart. It's crazy. It's the HP inflation is literally increasing very fast, and a lot of people saw this. And one of their arguments are Miyabi and Astrayao. Though Astrayao and Miyabi like they definitely increase the damage ceiling for the game, but I think it didn't affect the HP inflation by a lot, or they're not the main ones that affect the HP inflation. Let me give you some possible reasons why I think HP inflations are like literally going fast. As I said earlier, Zenless Zone Zero at the release has been labeled as button mashing game. Literally takes no skill to play at all the end game. You can literally play it blindfolded, and it stays that way, by the way, until 1.3. I think the big changes that happen in Zenless Zone Zero is the version 1.4. The updates, version 1.4 is literally the start of like the HP increasing. But before 1.4, because we actually saw from the graph itself that the HP actually decreased from 1.4 like throughout 1.4, and then it gradually increased on like start of 1.5 until now. And the changes that actually from my perspective increased the HP or made the content harder is the changes in combat mechanics, the main ones, which is the decibel changes. The decibel or the O charge is not shared anymore from all the characters. Basically, all characters can automate now. They have their own decibel charges, and basically it made the rotation much better. Damage output for rotation increases, meaning more automate, more damage. Basically, that's what happened. And I think that's one big changes on 1.4. And one more change is the very underrated one, I think, and a lot of people or a lot of, I guess, advanced players in Zone Zero use this. Basically, the manual change. Manual change is basically, remember that Zone Zero have a stun, then you can do a chain attack. Usually that's a automatic thing, but now you can choose whenever you want to do the chain attack, but you still have like the timer on like the stun window. Though at first you might think, that's just a small changes, not really a big effect in the game. But there's actually a big effect in the game. And usually it's because of like the big stun window that it does. Basically delaying the stun window by like not doing the chain attack. It's 1.7. I just realized how good it is, because I saw this one video from Yuji, I think that's the name of the channel, where he did a deadly assault run from Vinger using Miyabi, Lycon, and Sokaku. M0 Miyabi, by the way. And then what he did is, in only one stun window, he did a 30k. 30k points in one stun window. How crazy is that? I cannot explain it, but he did some advanced stuff using delaying the stun with freeze from ice, and also delaying the stun window with using advanced stuff from like the manual chain basically. I cannot explain it, but I tried it and I actually got 30k from Deadly Assault. Not in one stun though, but I cleared Deadly Assault bringer 30k easily with me being stupid and doesn't understand manual chain at all. But it actually helped me a lot. That's why I think it's very underrated because not a lot of people are using it. Only those people that, want to do some advanced stuff. I think that's also one of the big reasons, or like the combat mechanic big changes that made the HP inflation just increase like dramatically. One more thing, like I said earlier, Miyabi is one of the big reasons, but not a lot. I think everyone getting Miyabi on 1.4 with her W engine actually made the game like HP inflation increase dramatically too. Because as we all know, from 1.4, Miyabi got a patch banner. Basically, from the very start of the patch, from the very end, we got Miyabi banner alongside with Harumasa. And Harumasa, we got Harumasa for free. And a lot of people are actually underestimating Harumasa also. But Harumasa is actually one of the best DPS or attack DPS at that time when he got released. Of course, a lot of people not using him because it takes a high skill to actually use Harumasa. I cannot even blame them because I'm one of those people. But Harumasa is also one of the reasons. And one more thing that I think is actually a crazy changes, though it's not a change, but a new drive set, the Astral Voice. I think Astral Voice is one of those impactful drive that Zenless Zero released that is just too OP. You can literally use it on many supports and even you can use it on Stunner. It's crazy when I saw a video explaining that Stunner agent can value more on Astral Voice than support. So basically you can just run Astral Voice on Stunner and then your support can run its own drive set without using Astral Voice, but still getting like the effect of Astral Voice on the team, which is a crazy discovery by the way. And it made the game honestly, more easy. Though like the game is gradually getting hard because of like the increase of HP inflation, I think these possible reasons made the HP inflation make sense more. And also honorable mention, one of the strongest attack free-to-play W engine got released also on 1.4 that you can use on Evelyn right now and any other attack character like Harumasa. And from these possible like reasons why the HP increases, I think it makes sense or somewhat makes sense for you guys now why I think the HP increase like after 1.4. These changes are just too big. The new stuff that got released are just literally game changing. The drive set, Harumasa being free, the main changes in combat, and also giving us free-to-play W engine that is too strong. I think it's very visible now why HP inflation increases. They are basically trying to keep up with the improvement of the game. They're trying to keep up, especially with those big combat changes. And I think it's in a steady phase, even though in the surface, if you look at it, it's very aggressive. It's very intentional. Now let's talk about the players, the Zenless Zero players that are literally playing the game right now. I think players are clearing the game. I don't know if you guys know this one video that just blew up on like Zenless Zero community. The video that came from Dwarf Runs. So this video is actually his point or his 2 cents on the whole HP inflation debacle that happened like a week ago. And he actually show what a Zenless Zero free-to-play looks like and breaking facts that normal players are experiencing. And after watching that video, you can clearly see how different it is to have a player that actually do the work. And here's the thing, I think it's gonna sound elitist, but casuals are not clearing the game makes sense. Why? Because they're lazy. They're 100% lazy. It doesn't mean you suck. Doesn't mean you suck at the game. It just means you're lazy. You don't have commitment to actually work on your character. You just happen to not care at all. And I think it's okay. I think it's okay to be like pulling on the game and getting your waifus. But those casual players cannot complain about the endgame. You guys cannot complain at the endgame if you are lazy and cannot even commit the bare minimum, which is building the character and leveling them up, level them to level 60 and like level the skills and like the core skills, the bare minimum basically. Even though I don't review a lot of accounts, I know already what a casual player account looks like. I watch a lot of account reviews. Big shout out to ALG and Kete. And most of them have a lot of problem on basically just upgrading their skills and have a bad drive this. And that's a big thing to do. You need commitment to that. You don't want to be lazy. And I think in my experience, I'm quite lazy person and I don't understand why people cannot farm in Zenless Zone Zero because Zenless Zone Zero's daily takes 1 minute. You just need to open your shop, scratch some stuff, get batteries on coffee, and then do your farming. The farming takes 10 minutes at least. Like the minimum is like 5 minutes. 10 minutes is like I guess the maximum. It will literally only take you 12 minutes to actually play the game and then log out the rest of the day. And that's the lazy way to do it. That's how I do it. I'm a lazy person, by the way. I'm like 100% lazy person. Literally I don't stream. I always procrastinate and I can go to Zenless Zero right now, do dailies, farm in only 12 minutes and then go out of my way watch some freaking hentai or something. But yeah, I think casuals cannot clear, but players do. I separate casuals to player. I think casuals are those people that just pull for the character and just leave. And they think that if you leave the game, you just suddenly can clear the end game. But no, you just cannot complain about the end game if you cannot try. Try first, do bare minimum, then you can complain if the game is actually very hard. I think you should ask yourself first why you cannot clear the end game before complaining to the devs. Because yes, you can always complain to the devs. You can always complain to the devs because the game is there. But you can also complain about you. If you cannot literally cannot upgrade your skills, I feel like it's your problem and not the game. If you cannot level up your character up to level 60, I think it's your problem. That's just me though. But yeah, you are playing Zone Zero. You are playing a game. Even if it's a gacha game, it's still a game. Literally, gacha is just a monetary business added to a game, literally. And just don't expect that your character will suddenly get the best build, all skills upgraded without even spending time on your account. Or being lazy, just being lazy in general. Because what happens is, it's not about skills anymore if you complain about the end game without doing anything. It's 100% because you are being lazy. You do not suck at the game, I think, but you're just lazy. And it's okay. It's okay to be lazy. I think my only thing is that people are complaining about it even though you're being lazy in the game. It's just my thing though. I cannot stand them. Endgame is supposed to be hard. Yes, HP inflation is a very lazy way to make the endgame hard, but it's supposed to be hard. You need to work your way through the endgame. Endgame is not supposed to be cleared one time only. You need to build up basically your account to actually clear the endgame. Like, if you cannot clear the last stage of Shiyu, just come back, upgrade your characters, then come back. If you still cannot clear it, then maybe you are missing something, maybe you don't have enough tactics, then go to guides. And speaking of guides, you have 2 weeks of endgame in Shiyu. If you can clear the last stage, try to find solutions. And speaking of guides, instead of listening to drama CCs who doesn't help your account at all, please use it to guide CCs, especially on Zenless Zero. We have a lot of helpful guide creator in the space that can actually help your game and improve your account. To give you example of the CCs that you can watch Kete the 7, you can watch ALG, Abel, you can watch Soul, Flosin. Flosin just uploaded a video about Deadly Assault on how to clear them. You can watch OK Mazi. OK Mazi just released also a video about a clearing the deadly assault with 2 cost, 1 cost, and 0 cost team, you can see and watch them to like understand on what you should do on the current, end game and what you are missing. Because of course, it's not always about upgrading the characters itself, but also it takes knowledge also and skills. So sometimes, if you have 15 minutes to spare, I mean, we have like 2 weeks of endgame. If you have 15 minutes or 10 minutes to spare, watch a guide to learn at least few tips and tricks to clear the endgame. You have the time to spend on this drama thesis, but you don't have time to look for guides. That's not even like, how is that possible? To give you some solutions, I think that, casual players that should do, if you really want to do endgame, for those casual players that really want to be a player, build your characters first. Don't be lazying around. It only takes 15 minutes for you guys. Watch some build videos to also guide you guys when you're building the characters. Most guide videos for a character, they explain you how to build it. They explain what drive set you should do or put on the character, and they also like show you what W engine you should pick, and even explain the character's kit. Watch guide. It will only take you 15 minutes of your time that can literally make your account better in the long run. And farm. Like grinding in Zenless Zone Zero is one of the easiest way to farm, or like the fastest. It will only take you 10 minutes to farm your mats for the characters. Even if you are a waffle puller, learn team comps that you can use from the characters that you pulled, and don't ever ignore A ranks, because honestly, A ranks in Zenless Zone Zero are very useful. Like Nicole, Lucy, Seth, and Piper. Those are very useful, especially Nicole, which is honestly I would say the best A rank in the game right now. And also, please don't ignore your standard characters. I know some of you guys have a hateful feeling about your Soldier 11, Lycon, or even Nekomata, but even though some of them are just down below the tier, they are still very viable in the current endgame, can still clear the endgame. If they are useful and you have them, make sure you use them also. Do not ever ignore them, because not all characters in the game you can get, especially if you are a free-to-play character. Of course, if you are a whale, you can get all the characters you want. Now, for the future of Zenless Zone Zero, it's very bright, especially since devs know what they're doing with the end games. At the same time, in 1.4, where HP Inflation starts, Zenless Zone Zero devs released one of the best updates for the characters itself, which is the Lost Void buff, which characters like Ellen have different skills and animation already in the game that can be implemented in the future and make the old characters keep up with the problem of HP inflation. We even mentioned it in the dev talk. We already know Zenless Zone Zero devs have been very transparent with the development of Zenless Zone Zero compared to other games. Yes, Hoyoverse has a history of making their game a huge red flag, but we cannot always have the same opinion when a team on their company has the passion to actually prevent the problems the game has and actually mention it themselves. I'm not saying this because I'm sucking my $1 million company. Heck, I hate how Genshin is now. I just have a trust on Zenless Zone Zero devs that they will make a good decision in the future. If they mess up, I will criticize it. I'm in a position in life where I don't need to farm for my $1 million company unlike other people. I would rather spend my time looking at anime boobs jiggling and anime booty being plumpy than sucking off Hoyo's cock. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. I know this is a very long video. I don't really have a script, so I just been yapping. But thank you guys for watching, and big shout out to Dwarf Runs and Kete for information that I got from all of the things that happened. And also big shout out for all the CC in Zenless Zone Zero that helps a lot of players to actually like improve their account. ALG, like again Kete, Flossen, Soul, and Abel. More Zenless Zone Zero CCs. I cannot say them all in this video because it's gonna take a long time, but big shout out to them. Make sure you guys watch them if you actually want to, make your account improve at least, And yeah, thank you guys for watching. I'm gonna see you guys next time. Bye bye.